I've reviewed a lot of paddleboard pumps in the past. This has to be one of the smallest ones I've ever seen. And it is a plug-in. I've got it plugged into my truck here. I'm gonna pump up this paddleboard. I'm gonna use a timer over here so we can see how long it takes. And I'll give you my full and honest review. But right out of the gate, I just love how small it is. You know, you've got all the attachments connected right there. They've got the deflation port up on top as well as the inflation. So let's see if this small pump can keep up with some of the big ones. Another nice thing I like about this is just how bright the display is. Super easy to read, especially when you're out in the bright sunlight. It also comes with this nice carrying bag. Let's get this hooked up and try it out. This paddleboard is rated for 13 to 17 PSI. Over here you can change the PSI or bar. I'm on 20 PSI, so I'm gonna lower it down. I usually ride this about 14 PSI. I've got a timer set up here. I'm gonna start that as soon as I hit go on this. So you can hear it. It's about the same sound as a standard paddleboard pump. So we're in about 30 seconds. You can see the belly of the paddleboard's already starting to blow up. You can also see here we're in the low stage. So it's been about a minute and a half. Now we're starting to build up some PSI. All right, so it just kicked over into the high. That was just a little under 2 minutes. Now it's really gonna build up the pressure in the board. All right, we've been running for about 8 minutes and we're up to a little over 10 PSI, almost 11 PSI. All right, so it just shut off here. A little over 10 minutes to get up to 14 PSI. That's pretty good, especially coming from such a small pump. One problem you run into with these pumps is that they get so warm that you can only use them to pump up a couple of paddle boards. This one doesn't feel warm at all underneath. It is a little bit cooler in the garage right now, but I don't see any issue why you couldn't pump up at least 2 paddle boards with this back to back. I'm gonna switch over and try out the deflation on this. Typically I would just open up the valve and let the air out, but it's sometimes nice to pack these up tight if you're storing them for winter, and using that deflation really sucks all the air out. So I've got it switched over to the deflation. It's gonna let some of the air out before I turn it on here. Now that'll help it start to deflate. A lot of air is coming out of the inflation valve right now. I've started that timer to see how long that takes. You can already see that the belly of the paddleboard is starting to go down. Now it's not going to measure the PSI as it's deflating. Now we're into this about a minute of the deflation. You can see just how flat the paddleboard is already. There's still some here in the nose, but that'll all get sucked out. All right, we just hit 2 minutes now. You can see it's got most of the air out. You can hear that change in the tone, knowing that it's getting close. Just having all the air out of the paddleboard. You can see down there at the nose now just how flat it is. So I'd say just under 3 minutes, we're completely deflated. And I can go ahead and shut this off now. So you can see just how flat the paddleboard is, completely deflated. It's a nice feature to have on these pumps. So if you're sick of using those hand pumps, you're looking for the smallest possible pump that I've seen out there, definitely take a look at this one. I'll leave a link to it down below.